Hello, welcome to this first episode of a long series of Sekiro speedrunning tutorials. First off, I'm doing this series because several members of the French community asked me to produce it, and translation comes at basically zero cost for me. However, that does mean that there will be several instances where the information will already be made available by my fellow runners. I will link it in the description so that you can profit from everyone's point of view. However, my tutorial will focus on trying to be fairly exhaustive as to strats that exist for every single segment of the most popular categories. In Shura Glitchless case, for instance, Mitchriz already has an excellent starting tutorial, but my playlist will most likely take you from that beginner stage to intermediate, yet containing all the information relevant to new players. For advanced world record strategies, my friend Ramonchi is also working on a video. As I have explained, this series will be in episodic format for many reasons. First off, it will allow me to take my time explaining every detail for all segments, but also to update outdated video easily and to fill in the missing segments for other similar categories. The current plan is to release Shura Glitchless as fast as possible, as it is the most commonly run categories. Then, I will fill in the missing information for Shura Restricted, as many pieces of information are similar, before moving on to longer categories. I also highly encourage you to join the Speedrunning Discord, which has a ton of information and helpful people. Although you can directly message me if you're shy about talking on big Discord. In this first episode, we'll focus on general mechanics that you'll use all throughout the run, whatever category you'll be running. Some of these aspects may be pretty basic. If you just wait until the end and bear with me, I'll talk about a few more complex mechanics. We'll get started immediately with dialogue. Yes, dialogue. You'll see that in general, you'll be able to skip every dialogue after the important part. The important part can be either an item or choice. If there is none of those things, you may skip it immediately. Do know, however, that it requires you to play without subtitles. And since we're talking about dialogue, you have to understand that spamming isn't the fastest way to get through them. You're currently seeing a comparison between me spamming versus me deliberately pressing a button at slower but regular rhythm. As you can see, the difference is quite significant over the entirety of a category. If you're looking for optimal speed, dialogues are timed at 1 every 10 frames, so it will be 6 inputs per second. You can easily get away with 3, which is easier to count and execute. Let's continue with some small advice on ending your sprint. You may have noticed this weird animation that Sekiro does whenever you stop running. You crouch before interacting with an object, this animation gets cancelled. This is relevant not only here on Tutorials Door, but also when you pick up Monk's Stone or Ape's Flower. We'll now enter a long series of information about jumping. First, know that jumping is faster than walking when you can't run. However, even if you see multiple runners kicking or grabbing, it isn't actually faster. It is an old habit taken from an old belief that has been proven wrong. It is still possible that spamming your jump button may let you jump again slightly faster when you touch the ground if your reaction speed is slow. Still, be careful not to spam in close spaces. Indeed, Sekiro can jump with any parts of his hitbox, meaning that if your head, for instance, touches a surface, you'll end up wall jumping. It can hinder you, such as in this clip, or help you in certain skips. Let's talk about wall jumping, because they're gonna annoy you more than you can believe. Actually, you'll end up with a vertical jump whenever your directional input is less than 90 degrees to the wall relative to your camera. If you're having troubles, consider modifying your jumping. Similarly, always think about jumping before grappling. The animation is way faster in the air. In fact, you know that this game has input buffering. This means that if you press Grapple before being in range, but enter it in the next second, the animation will play. This can be done with any 2 animations. This is why, for instance, there is a delay when you jump right after starting to sprint, why you got a seemingly non-inputted attack when you were spamming. Still talking about jumps, you know that you could delay jump? When Sekiro leaves a platform, you have a certain amount of time to jump after you start falling. It is usually very permissive, with one exception. When the surface possesses a wall that prevents your fall, the jump becomes frame perfect and one of the most difficult mechanics. These jumps will, in time, deserve their own tutorials. During your runs, you'll often have to leave platforms. certain cases, you may be stuck before falling or have your momentum greatly reduced. In that case, holding down the grab button usually avoids it. A small information about mortal draw, a skill that you'll use a lot. Using the skill midair does a lot more damage, since a glitchless allowed bug lets you do the damage from the empowered version. There is a few exceptions, as ground mortal draw comes out quicker, which is therefore useful for Miss Noble, who dies in 2 hits anyways, or to cancel an enemy attack in critical situations. We'll now explore a more advanced trick with Deadangling. In fact, when you attack an enemy at an angle greater than 45 degrees, when that happens to you, the attack is unblockable, just as you couldn't stop a hit coming from behind you in real life. This is used in many cheeses. A more advanced, not beginner-friendly application is so-called 180s. For this strat, you can stun lock an enemy by turning every second attack, using their block to reset your combo. If you wish to try it, unlock your camera, hold forward and turn every second move with your joystick or S key. If your enemy is capable of attacking from a blocked hit, as Organic Shura Nation, you'll have to use an even more advanced and way more difficult variation that consists in turning every move. Here, it is impossible to use the enemy's block to reset your combo, and the third hit animation won't let you 180. Thus, you'll have to reset your combo by blocking every second move. It is also possible to crouch instead, which is slower but creates less distance build-up. You'll likely have to mix these. Finally, seldom useful but very cool technique called Stomp Cancel. It is rarely useful, but I included it for style bond's sake. If the frame at which you kick lines up with the one you touch the ground on, then you won't bounce, saving you a bit of time. Try it on Ishin. Jump, do 1 hit, with a small amount of time, approximately 1 frame, then do your input. Here you go. You now have very relevant information to understand the tutorial series. I know this video was quite theoretical, that the cuts aren't very dynamic, but I promise it will improve when we talk about runs proper. If you have questions, don't hesitate to contact me, but otherwise, I'll see you in the first split very soon.